After she was tied to the stake, she asked for a crucifix so that she could hold it in her hand. And as the flames rose and began to burn her, she started calling out the name of Jesus. 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 Have you ever felt like God was indifferent to your struggles? You don't need me to tell you that life can often feel this way. As we go through the storms of life, like breakups, like family drama, like sickness, and even death, we feel often as though we have been abandoned by God. And we know the truth is that God is very near the brokenhearted, but sometimes it doesn't feel like that. It didn't feel that way for St. Joan of Arc as she was led through the streets of Rouen. It was May 30th, 1431. And as she was led through the streets, she was forced to wear this hat. And the hat said her sins, basically. That she was a heretic, relapsed, that she was an apostate and an idolater. Furthermore, her sins, this was not actually her sins, were read before the crowd, as she was tied to the stake, and then she was burnt at the stake. And she is someone who could have felt like she was abandoned by God. It definitely looks, from a worldly perspective, like she had been abandoned by God. More on Joan later. The reality is that God is there and that he does care. That Jesus did go through all the same things that we went through, that we do go through, and sometimes even more. Not all of us live in poverty, but Jesus lived in poverty. Not all of us have been truly hungry, but Jesus was truly hungry. He was betrayed by a friend. He even had to go to school and memorize things, which, I don't know, sometimes is even worse than betrayal. Not really. And he was led out into the desert. He had to go without food and water for 40 days, and during that time be tempted by the devil, just like we are tempted by the devil. Jesus had to say goodbye to his father Joseph, so he was no stranger to loss. For those of you who suffer from anxiety, you can know that Jesus allowed himself to become so overcome by anxiety that the night that he was betrayed, he actually sweat blood, and his soul was sorrowful even unto death, and he prayed that God would just take the cup away from him. And so he's with us when we feel anxiety. He's with us when we feel depression. He knows what that is like. He knows what hunger is like. He knows what everything is like. He knows what torture is like. He experienced a whole day of it and a whole night of it leading up to that. Back to St. Joan of Arc. After she was tied to the stake, she asked for a crucifix so that she could hold it in her hand. And as the flames rose and began to burn her, she started calling out the name of Jesus. 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 Over and over and over, until finally she passed away, most likely from smoke inhalation. And from the world's point of view, it looked like she had been abandoned by God. But in reality, she was calling out to the one who knew exactly what she was feeling, the one who had called out, my God, why have you abandoned me?" And she must have felt a joy knowing that she was so close to being with her Father in heaven and with her friend Jesus in heaven, that all she could do was cry out, Jesus, Jesus. So my challenge to you is to think about the hard times that you've gone through in life and ask Jesus if he's ever felt anything similar. My guess is with a little bit of research, you can probably find a time in Jesus' life where he felt similar. The truth is that Jesus understands us, that he took every bitter pill that we take in this life, and that he is always with us, and that he is near the brokenhearted. And so we can find great comfort in that. God bless you all. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you.